welcome to Book Club no Kiseki. I am Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And I survived.
And the portion of Falcom's Kiseki series we'll be playing today is Chapter 2 of Trails from Zero. It's been a hot minute since we've been here. We played the prologue on embargo day, and then we followed it up and did the first chapter. We played
That's
and
what comes
recorded
after
it.
prologue, yes.
Yes, we played and recorded it like a week or two after the game came out, but then it was retail season, so we didn't post it until right now, because I just realized that I still
Did
didn't
you still
do
not do it?
When we recorded an episode yesterday in which I said I'm going to do it right when we're done recording, and then I didn't. But I'm actually going to do it tonight.
Do it while we're recording.
While we're recording. So we posted that one now, so that because we knew retail season was coming and we wouldn't be able to be consistent, so we would rather have just the one on embargo day and then a consistent run to the end. So if you're on the Ko-Fi and you're hearing this right now, what you heard last week was like months ago, but we're back on track to finish this one over the next couple of weeks. But before we get started, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? I'm sorry, that was a bad one. That was horrible.
They're all bad. I don't like this bit.
And I've been Matt Jorgensen. Good night, guys.
I hate this bit too, but I'm committed to it now.
I've been doing a lot of stuff, but what I'm doing right now at this very moment is I am looking at a list of Nintendo GameCube ROM hacks, and it's interesting to me because some of them have very interesting names. There's Metroid Prime Double Trouble. There's Samus Goes to the Fridge to Get a Glass of Milk 3D. There's Metroid Prime 2 Echoes Double Trouble. There is Duper Mario vs. Everything Open Parent Funny Mario Sunshine Hack Close Parent.
Okay.
So this one is funny. Let me describe to you the photos on the romhacking.net page. There is one which is Mario speaking to a toad, and the toad says sandwich. There is one where Mario seems to be looking at the head of some giant bird of some sort, and I'm presuming the bird is some sort of meme. Do you remember those videos where there would be the silly face and the silly face would shoot a laser?
Yes.
Yeah, that's here. The face is on the moon.
Good.
And the last one is a photograph of a funeral with Toad in there standing in front of the coffin.
Hilarious.
Then there's Super Mario Sunburn, which I don't know what any of these are, except I know that the last one was funny. But yeah, that the end.
Awesome. I have my own room, and I have the coolest futon ever in my room. It's from IKEA, and instead of it being instead of folding hot dog, it folds accordion. So
that's so cool.
So it like folds in thirds, and the one the top part is folded in half, and that becomes the back, and then it has the bottom third that you sit on, and then it like slinks out accordion style. So it's like a full-sized bed instead of a whatever the fuck you want to call a futon. And it's really freaking cool, and I really like it. And it's the only way I could get a bed and seating to fit in what used to be Storm's nursery, because he has a big boy bed in his sister's room now. But yeah, I feel like I'm living in a dorm again. Everything is very small and compact, and I love it. And it's GDQ week, and now that I have my own room, no one can tell me that I have to turn GDQ off, so I don't.
Nice.
What about you, Matt? How have you been for the last holidays?
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
Actually, this year, this year was definitely easier than last year. Mostly because instead of getting yelled at all the time for not having things, people just kind of expected it. And we did not have nearly as many things. That made sense. Sure, let's go with it.
Yeah. The supply chain is in a much better shape than last year, and people are much less douchey than they were last year.
Yes. And also, and this was the real shocker for me, we had PS5s the entire holiday season.
Nice.
Like, even on Christmas Eve, like 3 people came in and bought PS5s, and we had them for them.
That's awesome. I know that the bosses said that the PS5 supply chain has been healed and you can just go grab them from the store. But like they said that had happened a long time ago and it was a lie. But I'm glad to see that it is not a lie anymore.
Yeah. Setting aside boring work stuff, though, the only other real thing that is worth mentioning that I did is I got back into board games.
Nice.
Yeah. I can dive into that, but we might be here a long time. So if anybody has interest in board games, just at me in the Discord.
Nice.
But the good kind of at. Don't Twitter at me. I don't like that.
Awesome. I am
crap! I got hit by a car too. Did I tell you guys that?
Fuck? No.
No, you didn't tell me that you got hit by a car.
Oh yeah. Okay. that was the week after we decided to call it for the holiday season. So it's no longer fresh in my mind. Except I looked over and I noticed my Switch. I'm like, oh yeah. Because so I got hit by a car. Like, not the bad kind.
Not the bad kind of car?
Well, not the bad kind of hit by a car. So, like, I was walking back into our store and somebody... I don't even think they saw me because they didn't stop. They just pulled away. But they, like, back of the car checked me to the ground. And I got a concussion and a bloody nose and all that fun stuff. But the cool part is it let me get a new Switch. Because I landed on my old one and broke it real bad.
Ouch. Poor Switch. Who gives a shit about your concussion? You broke your Switch.
I was real not happy because it was broken to the point of not even being able to get my saves back.
Oh no.
But because I work at a video game store that offers warranties, I got to while waiting for somebody to come take me to the emergency room. I cashed in what was left of my old Switch and got a fancy Pokemon one.
Nice.
That is a very fancy Pokemon one.
It's got Pokemon on it.
Okay, that's the last.
Cool.
That's the last thing, I promise.
Awesome. So yeah, let's dig in and listen to some since on the main cast we've been playing a highly litigious piece of video games, so we've been playing very little music. Let's just hang on some Falcon music for like 45 seconds and then we'll talk about the plot.
Oh, luxurious.
So, when last we left our heroes, they
were cops.
They were cops, and they had a dog. There was a dog in game, and the dog was a nice dog, and the dog joined your party. Except turns out this week he didn't join your party. He became a summon, which is almost as good.
And he's a real good summon.
He's a very good summon. But yeah, that's all I remember that happened last week. It's fine. Something will probably come up.
We fought a bunch of dogs and their trainers.
We did. And those trainers were the mob, the Ravash and Company mob. I remember now. Because this chapter opens with those people from Ravash and Company getting yelled at by a very large man. And he is like, I can't believe that you got bested by a bunch of rookies. And then in comes the mob boss named Marconi. Says dog incident was just a minor setback. They need to focus on Heiyu's recent actions. Heiyu is the other not quite mob but kind of mob, the one from Calvard, and Ravash is from Arabonia. And so they say they need to focus on, quote, the auction. Then we cut to the Arc in CL theater with a purple-haired girl and a blonde girl. The purple-haired girl is practicing in really cool sprite art, Cirque du Soleil stuff. And
physically impossible stuff.
Absolutely physically impossible, but there's magic, so it's probably okay.
Does that mean Cirque du Soleil practices magic?
Probably.
They probably do some magic.
I knew it.
Actually, I just thought of that. Like, imagine how cool the circus is in a world where like magic is fucking real. Like,
sounds dangerous.
It sounds very dangerous, but probably really cool.
I think that's a bell curve, though, right? It's got to be. Because, like, if magic is, like, real but everywhere, I'm like, okay, that guy's on fire. My neighbor did that to scare those squirrels away last week.
Yeah.
But in, like, Eberron world, it's like, oh, cool, that dude's on fire.
True. But I also think the spectacle would be...
Oh, that's true.
Would pull you no matter what. So it's not like, oh, they're on fire, but like, oh my God, look how cool their fire is. They are doing awesome fire because this is Cirque du Soleil fire. Like, I can stand on my tippy toes. I cannot ballet. There's a difference. Anywho, so the blonde girl's name is Ilya, and she is a sex pest. I'm glad to know that there are now 3 sex pests in this game. Having one wasn't enough. But at least this one is a sex pest that's also bisexual representation, because that makes it okay, and which I mean, it doesn't. But Rixia, the purple-haired girl, is concerned that she's not going to be good enough to stand next to Ilya because she's the star, the big hot shit. But Ilya is like, no, like you're doing great. You're gonna do awesome. You'll maybe even surpass me one day. We learn that Rixia was a tourist from Calvard, and she was expecting to have gone home by now, but she kind of ran away with the Cirque du Soleil and is loving it so far. Rixia reveals that she's worried about some hate mail that Ilya has gotten from someone named Yin. Ilya's like, it's probably just a joke. I get hate mail all the time. But Rixia's like, yeah, this one says they're going to kill you, and Yin is the name of an assassin, so maybe you should be worried about it. And Ilya isn't, but then the manager comes in, says that Ilya has a phone call, and that phone call is from Cecile, Lloyd's sister, and Cecile is like, oh, you got to meet Lloyd, and Ilya's like, oh, maybe bring him to the show and I'll meet him or something. Then we see in a unknown location in like a computer hacker den, like Bowsden from Persona 2. We see a young boy. We don't know his name yet. Baofu. That's it. Yes. Baofu. For some reason, I was thinking Baofu was Bufu, the spell. And I was like, that can't be right. Oh, Persona. But we see this little blonde boy with a punchable fucking face doing hackery shit and saying he's hacking the mainframe and stealing technologies and stuff. He gets a email from Heyu server with Yin requesting services, and he's like, oh, this should be an exciting job. So now the assassin is recruiting young boys to do some stuff. We cut to the Triple S, and they're hanging out, and they start talking about the Arkanseal's upcoming performance, because opening night is coming soon, and everyone wants to get tickets, but they're hard to get. The opening of the show is also coinciding with the anniversary celebration, so the Triple S is probably going to be really busy and wouldn't be able to attend it anyways. We get told to go do some busy work, and we go and kill some monsters for somebody, and it's a required side quest, and it's not exciting at all. But then we get a call on our cell phone from Fran with an urgent dispatch request, asking us to get there immediately. When we get there, Brixie is there, and she's like, Ilya's brushing it off, but I really think something's up with this letter, so I really need you to investigate. So we head over to the theater to talk to Ilya, and she still thinks that it's just some sort of a prank or hate mail or something, and that Rixia is fretting over nothing. She hears Lloyd's name, is like, oh my god, you must be the person Cecile was talking about. So and so she is a sex pest again, but then since it's her friend's brother, she humors them, and it's like, okay, look, you can read the letter, you can investigate and see what's up, even though I don't think it's anything important. The letter says, cease production of your new show, or tragedy is certain to befall your beloved blazing dancer. That's at least what it said in the old translation, maybe, because this is from the fandom, which was up before the translation came out a couple months ago.
I definitely don't recognize
any of those words as I said it. But it's signed by
in
Yen.
case you didn't know, we are stealing the labor of the people who
made
did
the
wiki.
Yeah. This game is shorter than Sky, but it has less dungeons than Sky did, and has a lot more words than Sky did. So it is a lot of reading, and therefore I read it a lot, and I don't write notes as I go because I'm dumb. Lloyd asks if Ilya has any enemies, if she's done anything that would make somebody write a letter like this, and Rixia says, like, yes, there was. Ilya put the whole incident behind her, but only a few days ago, the head of Ravash came to try and headhunt her and take her to an opera house in Arabonia, and she said no and slapped him, and she was like, it's no big deal. And everybody's like, you slapped a mob boss, that's kind of a big deal. And she's like, whatever. So the Triple S think that's their best lead, so they go to investigate Ravash and see if they can talk to Marconi. The guards in front of the Ravash building aren't going to let them in, but Garcia, the big giant man, like literally giant. We talked 2 episodes ago about how big and strong what's his face the gangster was, and this guy's sprite is literally twice the size of that guy's. It is like Hulk-sized person, and his name is Garcia. He comes out and was like, no, come inside. So we talk to him, and he's like, the boss was really drunk that day, so I don't think he even remembers it. He wouldn't write a death threat over something like this. Like, he's got much bigger fish to fry. He's in the mob, for fuck's sake. Lloyd is like, okay, well, can you read the letter and take a look at it, see if you see anything anyways. It's like, okay, fine. And he looks at it and he says, I don't see anything, but he reacts like he does see something, but he, of course, doesn't say what it is. So the group leaves, and as he's leaving, Garcia says that Randy's hair reminds him of someone, which will probably come up later, but as for now, nothing.
How many people could possibly have red hair? Like, is it just an extremely specific shade?
Maybe so.
Maybe there's 40 people on this in this country like there is in the last one.
Maybe
it's true.
Maybe
Agate
this
was
guy knows
recognized by his hair too.
Yeah.
Outside, the group is like, well, he obviously recognized something about Yin, but we don't have enough information. Let's go talk to our lawyer friend Grimwood and see what he knows. So they go to talk to him, and he says he's heard of Yin, but not as a person, but just as a rumor of a assassin from Calvard, who is an assassin of legendary skill, wearing black clothes and a mask, and no one's ever seen his face. Lloyd guesses that Heiyu might have employed Yin, so they decide to go and pay them a visit. This whole chapter, Lloyd is like, we have no proof, but we all know that the fucking mob is up to no good around here. So let's just go knock on the front door of these mob places and just see what happens. This is the second time they do it.
And for every time Sam says, and they go do this kind of weird thing, just know that there's like fucking 30 minutes of the characters talking about whether they should do it or not.
Yes. They are definitely wordy in this one.
I love it. I love this game. Yeah, it's ridiculous though.
Yeah, there was one time it like really stuck out to me this week. Like we are inside a building and we have a conversation, and the conversation ends with like, all right, well, we should go back to the chief and talk about what we've done. So they go outside, and they're just like, all right, we're going to talk to the chief. And then person responds to blah, blah, blah. And then person makes a joke, and then person talks to blah, blah, blah about the joke. And it's blah, 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 blah. 12 extra text boxes that said nothing new. It just made a joke at Randy's expense. So it was worth it. 100%. So they go to the Heiyu company. They're over in the east side of town, and they have the
Harbor District.
In the Harbor District, they have a Eastern style place to remind you that they're from Calvard. The team meets Cal Lee, who's the young branch manager of the Crossbell branch. He says that he's read about us in the Crossbell Times, and he's a big fan of ours. He says he knows of Yin and mentions some of the rumors that he's heard, that Yin has lived for over 100 years and is immortal, that he can vanish into shadows, and that he never fails to kill a target. He said that he first appeared in Calvard at the height of the trouble stemming from the Republic's democratic revolution, and he's been responsible for the deaths of a number of prominent individuals. The entire time that they're talking, he's like phrasing things in a way that, reading between the lines, is like, under our employ, he's killed a lot of people, but he's just a business. I'm just talking about a certain business associate. You're the one making all these connections, and so we know that Yin is working for Heiyu, but we can't prove it. We have a confession because of the way he was phrasing everything. Cal says that he doesn't think that Yin has any connection to the letters, but he says that Yin works for whoever pays him, and Heiyu definitely has no interest in public entertainers, so why would they give a shit? So as they're leaving, they run into Detective Dudley, the guy with the glasses that we've run into a couple times. Dudley asks what the Triple S is doing and orders them to tell them, and he takes the case from him. He's like, "Oh, this is too big. This is potentially a like political assassin and shit. This go home. You guys are done. You're off the case." And we don't like that very much.
Yeah, he is like, this is a threat for a big event that there's going to be lots of very important people at. Maybe the main police force should handle security. And we're like, that is completely unreasonable, sir.
Yeah. It would be very reasonable if we weren't warned in chapter 1 to not trust the higher ups in the police force.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie in particular gets pretty upset about being forced off of the case, and we have I think it's now that we have the scene where Lloyd goes up to talk to her, and we learn that her it actually happens a little later, but whatever, I'll sum it up now. So we leave to go to do something, and we run into a dude named Ernest, who refers to Ellie as Miss Ellie, and Ellie addresses the older man that he's with as grandfather and promises not to bring shame upon their name. And we realize that that's the mayor, and Ellie has been the granddaughter of the mayor the whole time. Everyone's like, what the fuck? And Ellie's like, yeah, we're related. Surprised nobody figured it out sooner. I introduced as my first and last name, and his name is Mayor McDowell, for fuck's sake. But you call yourself detectives, I guess. But she gets upset at being taken off the case and all of the stuff going on. And Lloyd goes up to talk to her that night, and we learn that her father used to be a part of the diet and the diet. I don't remember if it's Asian pronunciation or the English word that it looks like. He used to be a part of that, but the political machinations of Crossbell were a lot and ended up driving him into the ground, and her mom left, and Ellie was raised by her grandfather, and it's this big whole crap going on with her whole family. And the reason she came back to Crossbell and specifically joined the police force is she wants to try and wrangle Crossbell back into submission, but not go through politics, because that's what's ruined her family. She wants to do it from a third party through the police, and seeing that even the police is as corrupt and mired in politicking as the rest of it, has her upset. But Lloyd is this is just a barrier to burst through. That's what our random battle song is called, is burst through the barrier. So we can burst through this barrier and keep going. We don't need to give up just because we hit a roadblock. You're still gonna achieve your dreams. We're still here to save Crossbell anyway, we know how. And there's a whole thing where the way that he phrases things is accidentally a confession of love, and he accidentally overcorrects and says that they're completely incompatible, and it's hilarious.
All he had to say was, no, I didn't mean it that way. We're co-workers.
Yeah.
And that gets you out of it.
Yeah. But no, she was like, "Are you hitting on me?" He's like, "Ooh, fucking gross." No. So yeah, they decide to burst through the barrier together, and Ellie feels a lot better. Meanwhile, over at Heyu, we see Kao and his right-hand man Lao discussing Ravash's latest movements, and as they're discussing everything, Yin suddenly appears from the shadows, decked out in a black hood. Now that we're playing in the future and we have voice acting turned on, it is a female voice that reads Yin's lines.
Yeah, but everybody refers to him as a dude.
Yes. Kao asks Yin why he turned down the request to deal with Ravash's guard dogs, and Yin says that the contract was to deal with Garcia, not any animals. Yin's not going to kill a dog for anybody. Kao then asks about what's going on at the Ark and Seal and if that's going to cause a problem for him. And Yin is like, well, what did you think of the Triple S? And Kao says that they're worth watching, but why the sudden interest? Yin is like, well, I want to test them. They might be worthy targets for my skill. The next morning, the Triple S are downstairs when they get an email from Yin saying
an orb mail. Excuse you.
RBM as a consonant blend is really hard to say, and this fucking series loves to say orbment and orb mail. But yes, they got an orb mail from Yin that in very flowery speech says something like, I, Yin, hereby formally submit my support request. Overcome this trial and come and face me. Only then shall I grant you your mission, or something. They backtrace the IP address, and they see that it came from the IBC building. And they're like, oh, well, that's a dead end. There's no way that the bank would let us in. And Ellie is like, oh, I have a friend who works there. Might be able to get us access. Turns out her friend is the daughter of the head of the IBC. Her name is Maria Bell, and her father's name is Dieter. And she refers to Dieter as Uncle Dieter. They're very, very close. So, of course, we walk in, and they're like, sure, here's an ID card. Just go wherever the fuck you want. It's fine. On the way there, we run into Ernest, who says that he's visiting to discuss the management of some government money, and he asks Ellie to quit the force, and Ellie is like, no. And he's like, well, the mayor is approaching a very busy time, and we could use your help. And she's like, I don't give a shit. I've joined the police force. I'm not about that. And he's like, okay, whatever. We go up to meet Dieter, and they're super happy to see each other. And so we ask about the email, and Dieter is like, nobody sent the message from the IBC. All the terminals are monitored all the time, and there haven't been any reports of suspicious people. But we invented the internet like 5 years ago. Maybe someone invented hacking since then, and so maybe we're getting hacked. And there's this whole like 35 text box exchange to make hacking make sense in this the level of technology world that they have, and it's stupid, and I love it. If there's one thing that the Kiseki series does, is it over explains things that you should just let people accept with a grain of salt. So Tio says if they can get access to the mainframe, they can figure out if someone hacked the system. So they go downstairs with Maria Bell and Tio. She creates a GUI interface in Visual Basic to backtrace the IP address, and figures out that there's a unidentified system in the geofront that is where the email was sent from, and they used the IBC as just a relay. So we go to City Hall to get access to the geofront because we need to go in on a different side, and they give us the key and said that we can go in whenever we want because there are stronger monsters here and we can go in to find hidden chests. The B sector of the geofront is a fairly long dungeon that has water level quote unquote puzzles. I accidentally got to the end. It was not very difficult. When you get to the end, there's a door with like teenage pop music coming out of it. So we go in and we see the little boy hacker from the cold open. His name is Jonah, and he's shocked that the Triple S found him until he sees Tio. And Tio says, "Oh, this boy's name is Jonah. He used to be an engineer with the Epstein Foundation. Then one day, as a prank, he messed with a project, caused serious losses, and he ran off before he could be punished for it." Jonah's like, "Leave me alone or I'll expose your embarrassing secrets." And Tio's like, "I don't have any embarrassing secrets, so sucks to suck." Jonah says that he's been working as an informant and using his hacker skills to learn a lot of things and then sell it to the highest bidder. And he's been living large. And they are like, "Okay, well, did you send this email? And what do you know about Yin?" And he's like, "Oh, Yin, he gave me this to give to you if you ever found me." And it's a card that says, "The door has been opened. I summoned you to challenge me at the Tower of Stars and hear my wish." So the group figures out that it must be talking about the Stargazer's Tower, which is a ruin near the hospital, and they head there to see if they can find some more answers. When they get there, they find Noelle investigating some things, and she joins the party temporarily. We go through this dungeon that I don't remember literally anything about. I was running out of time, so I changed my field speed to 6, which is really hard to control, but it means I was able to zip zap zoop through this dungeon. But it was really big and really pretty. I ran away from most of the fights too. When you get to the top floor, we find huge shelves full of books and alchemy stuff. And Yin shows up and tells us that this tower was created by alchemists a long time ago. Yin says that the Triple S must have many questions, but before she'll answer any of them, she has one final test because she has no time to waste on weaklings and needs to know if we're strong enough to fulfill her wish. I keep using she, her because I'm from the future and I know that it's a woman, but the party does not at this point. We fight and it's really hard, so I purposely fail like 4 times so that I can retry it on piss poor easy, and then it's still pretty hard, but I win.
I beat it on my first try, and it's extremely difficult, and I'm pushed to the very edge, and it's a fantastic time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I only purposely died instead of trying hard because I was late on time, and I could either win with attrition after a 45-minute thrilling victory, or I could cheat.
I don't remember.
We only had what, 4 months to play this?
Yeah, but I only had 1 day to play it because when Matt was like, "Hey, I can't make it this weekend," and I was like, "Okay, cool. We'll just put it off until after the holidays." I then put everything off until after the holidays. I'm smart. What were you about to say, Matt?
Oh, I was going to say, I played this twice after getting hit by a car. And I still don't remember how it went.
After we defeat Yin, Yin reveals that while he did send the email, he was not the one that sent the letter to the Arkan Seal. And the group had figured this out earlier. It's funny, the notes made sure to put in the direct quotes so that you could follow along, but then didn't bring up when Lloyd figured it out. But Lloyd figured out that the writing of the letter was very boring and basic, and the writing on the email was very flowery. So they're obviously from different people. But Yin confirms that here, that he didn't send it to the Arkan Ciel, and whoever the true culprit is up to something, because everybody's going to be there. And they're like, whatever, whoever wrote it probably wanted the First Division to be, which is the cops that stole the case from us. They said the wanted the First Division to probably be too busy doing other stuff to distract them from what they want to do. So we're going to go and patrol the theater, but not following Ilya, because that Ilya's probably safe. A, she's being watched by the First Division, and B, that's probably just a diversion, but we're going to see what else is going on.
So here's the thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like, oh, they're creating a diversion to get the First Division at the theater, to me, that means surely they're doing something far away from the theater, so the First Division can't get to them.
Yeah.
But somehow the logic is that they want the First Division to be at the theater where they're doing the crime.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it, but on the other hand, Ernest is dumb and he gets caught. But I don't think that Lloyd is dumb enough to have thought that Ernest's idea was what was going to happen. I feel Ernest should have just got caught by the First Division, but whatever. So, the night of the premiere is happening, and Lloyd and Ellie are inside while Randy and Tio are watching the outside. Lloyd and Ellie go on a patrol, and you have to talk to all the NPCs and check all of the doors 4 or 5 times. And
it's annoying.
It's very annoying. But the last time, like as you go through, the guard in the room with Ernest and the mayor seems to be like dozing off and watching the show and not watching. But Ellie is like, well, Ernest is in there, so Ernest won't let anything happen to my grandfather, surely. But then the last time you're doing your patrol, that guard is now kicked outside of the door and he's knocked out. So yeah, we race in there, and Ernest is trying to stab the mayor. Lloyd knocks the knife out of his hand, but then Ernest gets a gun and has the mayor held at gunpoint. He tells Ellie that they're exactly the same, and they want to change Crossbell and change the system, but Crossbell is so corrupt that the only way to make a difference is to be strong and to make big moves, such as killing the mayor. Dudley is there from the First Division. As we were running in, he follows us. He tells Ernest that he has no chance to escape and he should just refuse. And Ernest is like, no, I have a gun to the mayor's head. I'll kill him right here unless you let me out. And so everyone's like, well, shit, I guess. Yeah, well, let's save the mayor's life. So they stand down. Ernest shoves the mayor to the side and runs outside. So
then we remember we have friends outside and cell phones.
Yeah, so we call our friends that are outside on the cell phone, and they stop Ernest easily. And we run off and start talking instead of arresting him. So Ernest pops up again and runs off, only for Zeet, the wolf, to catch him and actually apprehends him instead of just like hitting him once with the staff.
The wolf fucking cuffs him.
Yeah. Back in the theater, the play continues and finishes, and the grandfather is like, yeah, I don't want to cause a hubbub and ruin the play because this play is good. So even though I nearly got killed, let's just finish watching. So the we flash forward a couple of days, and the incident is in the paper. Everyone is in an uproar with a bunch of support going for towards the mayor from a bunch of the citizens for surviving, and the Triple S is discussing everything that happens, and they wonder if using Yin as a scapegoat was trying to undermine the pro-Calvard faction to make it look like, oh, the Yin is an assassin from Calvard, so the Calvardian faction of everybody are the bad guys. But Tio mentions that Ernest seemed to have a natural strength and speed. But then Chief Sergei arrives and he says that Ernest is being held in prison, and the doctors from St. Ursula and counselors from the church are going to be looking over him to see what the hell's going on with him.
Because something's going on with him, because a normal person can't be bad for normal reasons in these games. They have to be fucking mind controlled by monster people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you pretty much got it.
Yeah. At the McDowell residence, Ellie's grandfather is like, well, I've rested for one day and I've almost got assassinated, but it's time for me to be mayor again. And Ellie is like, no, don't do that. Like, let me take care of you. And he's like, no, you're a cop. Go be a cop. I was basically just tackled. I didn't actually get hurt that bad. The anniversary festival's coming up. I have a lot of work to do. The city needs me. The city needs you. Let's go and go be a cop. Go make the change the way that you can. At the Heyu office, Kao and Yin are discussing the incident. They doubt that Ernest came up with the idea himself. Probably his strings were being pulled by a bad man, because people can't be bad for normal reasons. And if their plan has exceeded, their interests would have been seriously compromised. And Yin reminds Kao that while he works for Hayu, he isn't a part of the group, and so stop assuming that their interests will always align. Kao confirms that Hayu will make its move against Ravash on the final day of the upcoming festival, and he asks Yin to take care of it. Yin agrees, says it's time, and vanishes. We watch Yin leap across the rooftops, arriving at the Hotel Millennium.
And he says it's now Assassin's Creed.
Yes. He says, awesome, I made it in time, and then he changes, revealing that it was Rixia under the costume the whole time.
What?
Yeah, I didn't think it would be Rixia. I thought it was going to be someone from the Sky trilogy. Was going to be my guess. Like, be Carnia or something. Karna. I was putting Kilika and Karna together to make Carnia.
You're putting Kilika and Karna together in your fan fiction.
Yes. As she's entering the theater, Rixia is greeted by Ilya, who congratulates her on her debut. She thinks that Rixia is a star and thinks that she can be Ilya's new rival. Rixia says that, it doesn't say it here in my notes, but the final button on this thing is basically, oh, I thought that the life that was chosen for me was the only life I could have, but you've shown me that I can choose my own destiny, something like that. So it seems she doesn't want to be a mega assassin. She wants to be a dancer. And That's dope. And then Luna from Sailor Moon walks out and asks us if we would like to save our game. So we do. So yeah, let's listen to another good 45 seconds to a minute of a Falcom song and then talk about our memorable moments. Someone else, please talk. This started hurting real bad like 10 minutes ago.
No. So there is a hidden, from what I can tell, it looks like there's a hidden side quest in each chapter. I've been following a guide to make sure I do all the side quests because I want to. And, you know, you got to get your fighting in some way in this game.
Yeah.
Most of the fighting is during side quests. And there's a hidden side quest where I guess you just have to think to go to the police station and think to talk to everyone. And eventually you talk to, I believe his name is Pierre. It's the guy who's in charge and hates the SS and SSS and hates Sergei and is a real mean guy. And he is hungover and he is freaking out, and the SSS gets out of him that he got super drunk last night and lost his wedding ring while bar hopping. And he asks the gang to find his wedding ring, and they're like, that's fucking impossible. You don't even remember where you went. But they get something from Pierre that has a scent on it, and they ask Zete to find the scent. And eventually they track down that he went to this one bar in the back alley, and he gave the wedding ring to a random woman there.
Oh my goodness.
Was hitting on her and gave his wedding ring to a random woman. And she's still there and still very drunk. She apparently stayed there all night. And she's like, yeah, I don't want this. And we're like, okay, can we have it? And she's like, yeah. So we give it back to Pierre, and he's like, okay, I guess you're still not cool. I still don't like you, but thank you. And I think it is important to mention, I don't think you mentioned that at the end of this chapter, Sergei tells the gang that after, they foiled the assassination of the mayor, the rest of the police are starting to think they're actually kind of cool. The first division, not so much. But everyone else, sort of.
Nice. I did several side quests because I couldn't complete the mandatory side quest. I even purposely dying a couple of times to do resets. I would die in the first 2 hits of those little armadillo things. So I did a bunch of side quests, but I don't remember anything about them.
You should maybe play not just on the day of recording so that you can have time to take your time and get your guys strong and enjoy the game.
Yeah, I started yesterday. I did all my side quests. I did was yesterday. I played a bunch yesterday, but pivoting from, I've already completed the Final Fantasy VII chapter that is due to let's play a gigantic chunk of Shin Megami Tensei and also a gigantic chunk of Trails in the Sky this week was a lot. And I will plan around that a lot better. And now I have my own room so I can play video games whenever I want and not have to feel like a dick for making the kids stop watching TV.
Hell yeah.
But I also remembered how much I really freaking love this game and will probably play it as soon as I'm done playing Yakuza. But so I noticed a lot of things this week that are really cool and really awesome. So Trails in the Sky was a PC game because Falcom is a PC RPG maker, and they have been forever. Everything else has been ports. So the PSP versions is a port of the PC game Trails in the Sky. But these games were created for the PSP, and because of that, they have less graphical fidelity than Trails in the Sky did, but they wanted it to look better because it's the next one. So part of the reason why we can't control our camera is because there's a whole lot of things that like are 2D sprites that would have been 3D models in Sky, and there's a lot of really cool like ways that the sausage is made that I noticed this week. Like one of the simplest ones was when they're eating spaghetti at the beginning. All the stuff on the table is all sprites, and I definitely remember like polygon bottles and plates and stuff like that in Sky. And so there's a whole lot of little tricks and stuff like that they accomplish in this game, and it ends up looking so much better because they had harder restraints. And so it's kind of like with pre-rendered backgrounds back on the PlayStation, because they only could put the camera in one place because it was pre-rendered, they could make that pre-rendered background look really freaking good. And so a lot of PlayStation games look really awesome because the PlayStation actually sucked, kinda. And this game is the same way. There's the design and level design and everything is much better, and it's much better because they had a lot fewer polygons to work with.
It didn't occur to me that it would be a technical reason why we couldn't control our camera. I just liked not being able to control the camera because I don't want to have to deal with rotating the camera to make sure there's not something behind a building. Just put the stuff in front of the building so I can see it.
Or put it behind the building on purpose. Like there was a couple chests while I was walking through earlier that I could see on my mini map because I have the thingy on it, but you can't see it on the thing. But when I went back there, it had like a level 2 quartz in it, so it was like a bonus. It's like, oh, set up your quartz so that you can see things on your mini map so that you can find this one and get rewarded for engaging with the systems, which was really cool.
Speaking of engaging with the systems, I have been engaging with the quartz system more than I have in a while, because now that I've gone through the Sky trilogy, I understand how it works. Mm-hmm. But in like Sky the Third, and to a lesser extent Second Chapter, my guys were so powerful and my quartz was so great that I just sort of threw stuff on them and it worked, and I got everything I needed and I was a badass. But this one, I have a much more limited inventory of quartz, and I am figuring out how to, if I want to switch a certain quartz from one person to another person, or switch up where they are in the orbment to put them on the same line, things like that. I'm really enjoying it.
There's side quest this week about playing with your orbment, and it made me realize, like, because like you said, everyone was strong enough that I gave everybody HP 2, I gave everybody defense 2, I gave everybody attack 2, I gave everybody move 2, and then the last 2 slots were utility, like, oh, I need to have Eagle Eye somewhere in the party, I need to have yada 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 yada, those sorts of things. But because of that side quest where you had to stack your orbment so that you could have it's like the level 3 or 4 buff for space.
I think Mirage,
yeah,
maybe,
but
doesn't matter.
But yeah, you had to, with your small number of quartz available to you, you had to stack it to be able to get stealth, and it was really cool to do it that way. And after doing that, like, a lot of times in games they're like, oh, you go and equip something that'll do a blah blah blah, you do it, you do this thing, and then you change back. But I'm like, you know what, I kind of like Tio being Mirage focused and having all of this stuff. She has enough to have a group heal and a revive, so past that she can have whatever she wants, and why not just be focused on Mirage stuff?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
I've also been thinking more about, like, what accessories people have. I really enjoyed being ridiculously powerful and stuff, like having extremely powerful characters versus extremely powerful enemies in the third. But having dipshits, weak dipshits, is also fun.
Yeah, especially because I've been sprinting through it and not doing a lot of stuff. I'm very under leveled, and I have the ability to, if I'm still sprinting, fail a bunch of times to get through it, so I'm not stuck. But everything is harder, and it being hard, I'm having to think a lot more. I've been using buffs. You heard it here first, folks. Sam Allman is using buffs and debuffs. But, like, I'll start a fight that's not just hold A to win, and I'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to make Ellie do La Crest, and then Lloyd is going to do his shoutcraft or whatever it's called, and bada bing, bada boom. And Tio's going to call in Zeet. So then they all have debuffs, we all have buffs, and now I can start for real. And it's been a lot of fun. These games are awesome for giving you all 4 of your party members at the very beginning. And I feel like I have so many options available to me now in chapter 2 that I can unlock everybody's slots. When I only had like 1 slot on each person, it was kind of a nightmare. But now that everyone has slots, I'm really enjoying being able to plug and play and figure everything out.
So it's really cool listening to you guys describe this, because that shift from when we started playing Trails in the Sky, I was already kind of in that place of, like, because I did Trails of Cold Steel, and I did it in a much more truncated way of, like, okay, I'm gonna get my head kicked off every third fight in Trails of Cold Steel because I'm refusing to engage with this orbment system. To halfway through that, okay, I'll do what I have to get through it. And by halfway through the second game, I was like, oh, no, this is an amazing mechanic, and I'm an idiot for not using it.
Yeah.
Remember Tim Rogers' anecdote about his roommate who got to the final boss of Final Fantasy VII without ever equipping a materia?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean, I finished Final Fantasy XII without knowing how the Gambit systems work the first time.
I couldn't imagine playing Final Fantasy XII as a regular Final Fantasy.
Oh boy, you just give everybody the blunderbuss and like you reload saves a lot.
But yeah, a memorable moment that I have is Zeke lives outside of the Triple S building and he plays with kids all day. And it's amazing. And I love him.
And you would think people would be like, oh no, there's a dire wolf in town. But apparently on his first day there, he saved a kid from a bus and everyone got the word that the wolf is good, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Not dangerous.
Everybody who lives in this country lives in this town, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like this game. And I'm excited to play more of it. And I promise to play more of it before Monday afternoon.
I have a theory about this game that I'm gonna try and save for next week. It's a dumb one. It's not like related to video games at all.
Good.
And next week's probably gonna prove it. But I think it's just like, do either of y'all watch Gunsmoke or Bonanza?
Long time ago.
Nope.
I am almost convinced that like whoever wrote this just watched that and like, how can we make this anime? No, not like Trigun. Weirder.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. One of my first when I still was young and full of life and promise, I had several video game pitches that I wanted to work on and develop. One of them was just take the plot of Geometry movies and set it in space and make it anime and make some RPGs. And that's basically what you're saying this game is.
I mean, am I wrong though?
Yeah, we're the new sheriff in town. That's like the old sheriff was corrupt. We're not gonna stand for that. But yeah, anything else you want to say about this chapter before my throat falls off?
I just really enjoy we talked about how the fights in these games, in the cutscenes with the sprites are really cool, but I really enjoy the wild ass wuxia shit that happens in the dances.
Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. It thankfully didn't show us the whole thing like the play in the first game, but it could just give us like the ballet parts and you just watch the cool crazy performances. It very much is Cirque du Soleil and a ballet more than it is like a opera or something.
Yeah, they call it a play, but it appears to be more of a ballet or something like that. Yes.
Yeah, if you happen to be listening to this and you haven't played any of these games, you should. They're really good. They're definitely worth the time investment. And unlike Final Fantasy XIV, the first one is still one of my favorites. So you don't have to play through the bad ones to get to the good ones.
Yes, Trails in the Sky 1 fucking rules.
Yeah, I think that I like this one better, but I don't think you could just start on this one. I think you would need this to be your fourth game to have like what we're talking about, where you stumble through the orbit system to then do it for real right now, and it makes it a lot more fun.
I mean, I think you could play this as the first one, but the Sky trilogy is right there.
Yeah.
Why not play that first? It's good. It'll make you enjoy this one more, and it's good.
Yeah. Very true.
Even the Trails series is right there. Like, for those of you not on the computer, and I'm pretty sure the first one was $10 during the last holiday sale. The last Trails of Cold Steel game on PSN. So, like, I think I agree with the Bernard. I think this could be your first one, but, like, it isn't 2016 anymore. It's easy to play these games in the order what they came out in.
Yeah. I really like them, and I am excited to get into more shenanigans for these people. So I thought that this game was longer than the ones that we've done before, because How Long to Beat says it is, but there only bees 5 chapters, 6 kind of the prologue. So we're halfway done with the game.
How Long to Beat says Trails from Zero is about the same length as Trails in the Sky 1.
Yeah,
and I think Chapter 3 is going to be a 2-parter.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. It looks like it's probably longer, and it looks like it's divided up into days. So let's try and do days 1, 2, and 3 next week. It might be kind of light, but we'll see. If it's super light, we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then do 5 and the intermission as the next one. But we'll see. So we're gonna go play some, and then talk about it. If you liked what you heard today, and you listened to us in the podcast feed instead of over on www.rpgbook.club, you should head over there, because everyone who makes any kind of donation on the Ko-Fi gets access to these episodes a month before everyone else. And we're committing to doing these at least mostly weekly from here on. So you should have 3 or 4 of them waiting on you. So go and check those out. Any and all donations that you make will be put back into the show to make it better, offset hosting costs, and buy cool things that I showed Matt and Bernard a couple minutes ago. But if you donate $1 or more a month, you'll get access to these episodes a month early, like I said, and you'll also be able to vote on our polls to decide what game we play next. There's a poll live right now, at least a time of that this is on the Ko-Fi, covering Bernard's Auto by RPGs, which is between Skies of Arcadia and Paper Mario. Skies of Arcadia is winning unanimously, so Paper Mario stands come out and do a lot of voting and turn the tide. If you bump up your monthly contribution to $5 or more a month, you'll also get your name shouted out at the end of every episode, just like this. Shout outs to Floris, Kaldron, Freddie Rodriguez, Bernie L. Taylor, Aaron524, Anthony Lerma, Vimk, JFro Prime, and Doho. And then if you bump up your monthly donation to $20 or more a month, we'll not only read your name, but give you a 1-sentence shout out to whatever you want. URL, YouTube channel, just to make me say something stupid, whatever you want. We now have 2 luminaries. Eliza Tantavi is our newest one, and they want you to go to critical-distance.com, which is an aggregator for good games criticism and journalism. And then our other current luminary, Carr, is a dentist, so his shout out is not for a Twitch stream, but for your own mouth. He asks that you brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, the time right before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
I'm Matt Jorgensen.
Toodaloo, folks. That's the wrong one. Adios, amigos.
There you go.